Welcome to an episode of InRange. I'm coming to you today from High Desert Brutality 2025, and I want to tell you about a new division we've added to Brutality matches, but also just a concept in general. And we're calling it Space Cowboy. So, if you watch this channel for any time, you know how much I love my lever guns, love them a lot. And what Space Cowboy is, are lever guns with optics. Now, this happens to be an 1894 Winchester made by Morocco with angle eject. So a kind of historic lever gun and a pretty traditional design. I've put on it very high rings, and I've got a 4X Redfield wide field scope. I'm going to do a whole video on that scope by itself because it's really cool. But by putting that optic on there, I've made this now a Space Cowboy division gun. Any lever gun with optics on it, whether you have a 4X Redfield, an LPVO, a red dot sight, I'll tell you more about that in a minute, and then you pair it with a handgun. And the handgun has to be either 45, 10 millimeter, or a 357 Magnum. And that all is aligned with Space Cowboy. You know, think Firefly, Serenity, Mandalorian, all that stuff. And what this does is opens up the door to all these now modernized lever guns that exist on the market, whether you have every piece of it being aluminum M-lock, skeletonized with special whiz-bang stuff on it, or you have a somewhat traditional Winchester 1894 and 30-30 with just scope rings and a scope on it. That is all Space Cowboy. So we're going to hopefully encourage some of you to get into the lever gun game. So if you're shooting at one of our events that's kind of rifle focused, like Woodland Brutality or here at High Desert Brutality, where we have targets out pretty far, you need something in a rifle caliber. And I'm shooting 30-30, but you know, an 1895 Winchester in 30-06 would be fine, or 30-40 Krag, or anything in 30-30. Any lever gun in a rifle caliber, as long as the ammunition's legal and you got a scope on it, you could use it here. And you'd be surprised how well you can do with an 1894 in just old 30-30 at distance.
Hit. 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 How many stages you got? Hit. 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 Hit.
Size he wants.
Hit. Hit. Hit.
So if the stage happens to be one that's pistol caliber friendly, why not use an 1892 Winchester with a red dot on it? I happen to have an Aimpoint Acro on there. This gun's in 357 Magnum. This is a Rossi. I really like this. I like the Morocco's better, but the Rossi's really good. Throw a red dot on it and join us at CQB Brutality in Space Cowboy Division. And no Space Cowboy would be complete without his sidearm. This is my FK Burno. It's a PSD compact. This is in 10 millimeter. Space Cowboy allows 10 millimeter, 45 ACP, or 357 Magnum.
To your left.
Hopefully you'll come join us in the apocalyptic retro future of Space Cowboy. Lever guns are awesome. Lever guns with optics, maybe even more awesome. Yeah, probably even more awesome. If you want to get into Brutality events, early access to all Patreon supporters, some levels with discounts right off the bat. Some of our matches fill up with Patreon supporters before they ever go public. But if you want to track Brutality matches, you can find them at brutalitymatches.org. And if you want to support this alternative voice in the firearms community, every dollar counts. We appreciate you. Patreon.com/InRangeTV. What's the equivalent of yeehaw for Space Cowboy? I don't know. We have to think about that. Stay tuned for more.